Hello everyone, welcome to some another Last of Us analysis or prediction. But this is not going to go for Fit for an Apocalypse because I think I've had too many episodes of that. So I'm just going to call this just talking about The Last of Us Part 2. I want this video to be about Ellie's psychology, what's going on in her mind, alright, at the time that she's dealing with all this emotion. Alright, so what is one thing we know for certain Ellie deals with a mental basis in The Last Part 2? I do believe that she's dealing with PTSD. PTSD has a bunch of side effects and symptoms, man. It's just, I can name of just a few, okay? Your behavior is you have agitation, irritability, hostility, hypervigilance, self-destructive behavior, or social isolation. Hypervigilance is when you have the feeling, have the intense fear of something bad happening. Self-destructive behavior means you get angry pretty fast. You're self-destructive. And social isolation, where you isolate yourself from society. And there is no society, but still, if she isolates herself, that's PTSD behavior. And then there's psychology, flashbacks, fear, severe anxiety, or mistrust. Flashbacks are obviously flashbacks of the memories that she once had. Fear, afraid. She's afraid of certain things. She could be afraid of certain things. Severe anxiety, where when you have severe anxiety, it means you're scared very fast. You were really scared because you feel you're like back in that moment again. And then there's mistrust, where you don't trust anyone. And then there's mood, the loss of interest or pleasure in activities. You have guilt or loneliness. That right there might be one of the most, probably the most, something that she has. She probably has PTSD of the mood. She has guilt, and she has loneliness. She definitely has guilt. She has survivor's guilt. She's survived so much of, she's lost so many people to infection, and she feels guilty that she's still alive. And it kind of sucks, And then there's sleeping, insomnia or nightmares, where you can't sleep, but it's either insomnia is when you can't sleep, you just can't sleep, and then there's nightmares, where you dream of probably the worst case scenarios, And there's some other things that are common in PTSD, which is emotional detachment, where you detach yourself emotionally, which means you have suicidal thoughts and you unwanted thoughts. Same thing. So if you have emotional detachment, it means you are emotionally detached from yourself. And unwanted thoughts might be thoughts of suicide. And PTSD, it comes in all shapes and sizes. It can be good, it can be really bad, or it can be even very worse. And if you guys don't know what PTSD is, it's post-traumatic stress disorder, a disorder in which a person has difficulty recovering after experiencing or witnessing a terrifying event. And most PTSD is in the military. But the War of the Last of Us is worse than military, guys. It's way worse. You are literally every second of your life, you could die, and that's even now in our world. But in this world, you have a bigger chance of dying from infected, by being killed, by having some spores on you and infecting you that way. So many things can kill you. Your best friend could betray you. It's just that this world is so bad that no matter how difficult it is for Ellie, she seems like a strong individual. She seems very, very strong. And she is. And she will deal with pretty much anything that comes her way. Even if it means she knows what's right. Even when she says she's not. She says in the songs, I can't do right because I'm all wrong. That's just how she feels. She feels like she can't do right because she's always wrong. So, is there any other mental disorders that we can think of? Depression, alright? Maybe when she got depression, when she didn't have the feeling of hatred. When you have hate, you're not depressed. You hate that person. You hate that organization. You hate that type of society. You hate that group. Hate is not just a feeling of negativity, but it's a feeling, and it's a motivational thing. If you hate someone to a point that you want to kill them, you have a lot of will and a lot of motivation to do it. So she doesn't have depression. She does have PTSD. Oh, by the way, she has PTSD. Okay? She has to have PTSD because of all the crap she's been through. There's no way that she can unforesee everything she's seen. You know, how do you know she didn't see Riley turn, you know? You know, so think about it. So what could be other things she could have? She could have bipolar disorder. For those who don't know what bipolar disorder is, it's like a change of moods, you know, or episodes of mood swings, ranging from depressive lows to manic highs. You know, from you can be depressed one time and then you can be happy the other time. You know, you could be happy right now and then like a few seconds later you could be depressed as hell. You know, so it's guys, this one right. So yeah, I think she may have a little bit of bipolar disorder. You know, and remember these are all chemicals in the brains that get messed up because of an event. It all happens in the brain. That's where most of mental disorders take place, is in the mind. Okay, now here's this one: obsessive compulsive disorder. Okay, I have this myself. Okay, I have OCD, terrible at OCD. When I have a thought that goes in my head, it loops around and it grows over my head, in my brain, and I can't stop thinking about it. And here's the definition of obsessive compulsive disorder: excessive thoughts, obsessions that lead to repetitive behaviors, compulsions, which means repetitive behavior. It's repeated behavior, basically. And could you imagine being OCD in this type of world where when you are obsessing over so much stuff and you don't know how to think of something different? That's crazy, man. And then here's this one. I feel like she has this so much. She probably has schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a disorder that affects a person's ability to think, feel, and behave clearly. Schizophrenia can also be you can't trust anyone, paranoia. She probably has a lot of paranoia, but not with Joel. Joel is probably the only person she really trusts. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out if she might have this one right here too. Agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is a fear of places and situations that might cause panic, helplessness, or embarrassment. Is there any place in this world that they're going to visit again? You know, is she going to go to a certain place and have like a panic attack? You know, is she going to have these sorts of feelings? Because you got to understand that she's seen a lot. All right, we only seen what happened at the age of 14 and to the end of the game. We didn't see what happened in the 5 years she was the 5 years that she was growing up from 14 to 19. You see what I'm talking about? So yeah, I mean, it can be so many stuff up here, you know, and so. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to look at some of these right here. I have a bunch of them. I'm trying to see if any of them can affect on Ellie, you know. But yeah, those are probably one of the most things that she has, you know. She's probably has PTSD. She's probably has a lot of fear, you know, of going to certain places and of people. She's probably a paranoid and a schizophrenic, which means that she's afraid to go any places, and she can't control her feelings. She can't deal with them, and you know, there's things like suicide that comes into her mind probably, and And like I said, schizophrenia is when you have a hard time, you know, controlling or thinking. You know, it this disorder affects a person's ability to think, to feel, and to behave clearly. There could be times where Ellie could be happy or just like calm, and then she can go from being calm to being a complete schizophrenic, where she just can't control her emotions. She'll have like a bipolar, you know. There could be times where she'll wake up screaming because of her PTSD. I really believe that she has three. Okay, I believe she has PTSD, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. I think those three is what she has. Because there's no way you can live in the world of The Last of Us and be fine. Especially the crap that she's been through. David was probably the biggest change that happened to her. That's probably where everything started going downhill. Is when that third. Those three, PTSD, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia, are probably the three most things that she has in her brain that really screwed her over. Because that's where she really started the changes with David. David changed her perspective on life, on the world. She realized that not everyone is not everyone is as good a person as she is, or good a person as Joel is. You know? Okay, so with that being said, she is going to be feeling emotions. She's going to be feeling a lot, especially for a kid, man. I mean, you got to understand, she grew up in the apocalypse as a kid, as a teenager. All right, teenagers have the hardest time. It's the hardest time of your life because you're trying to figure out what you want to do. You're trying to figure out who you want to be. You have to deal with your emotions. You got to deal with your problems, your fears, your anxieties, everything. Your phobias, your anger, your sadness, everything. You have, because all of your emotions are heightened at that age. And hopefully she's already over with that stage of her life where she's not dealing with it, but now she's still, you know, PTSD doesn't go away. PTSD stays in the head. It's all in the mind. And the more and more that you venture in that darkness of PTSD, the worse it gets. But like I said, people who go through PTSD need therapy. They need someone to talk to. They need not to be put on medicine, because I don't believe medicine really works. Okay, but anyways, let's get we're grabbing off topic. But anyways, Ellie is going to be having those three. And I'll say them again. PTSD, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. It's probably what she has. She definitely has PTSD, a little bit of it, or not, if not most, a little. She definitely has it. She definitely has bipolar, and she definitely has schizophrenia. These are all predictions, guys. So don't think I know something about her, because guys, I'm gonna tell you, the Ellie we saw in the first game is nowhere near as much as Ellie is gonna be in the second game. She's gonna be more hateful. She's gonna have hatred in her heart. That's the name of that's the theme of the game. Hate. There isn't gonna be much love in this game. It's about vengeance and justice. It's gonna be about redemption. It's gonna be about hatred. It's gonna be about fear. It's gonna be about darkness. It's gonna have all these things that is gonna be really hard for Ellie to deal with. But anyways, I just want to put this video out because I just want to go in the mind of her, because she is the main character of the second game. And I can't wait to play this game, and I can't wait to see who Ellie is. And because I love her so much. Because the age that she was, it was basically the age I was, you know? And I felt how she feels, and now 6 years later, I feel like she needs to. I feel like right now that me and her are going to connect in a certain way in the second game, alright? Because that's what I do. I connect with characters. I have never, ever connected with any other characters besides this character, Ellie. I have connected with Joel and Ellie more than any other character in any game, okay? Because of their problems, because how they fight themselves sometimes. That's the problem within a post-apocalyptic world. It isn't really the enemy. It isn't really people. It isn't really infected. It is most likely yourself. You are your biggest enemy sometimes. You can be your biggest enemy. Trust me, I've done that. I've been there. I've made myself my worst enemy before. And I finally got out of the hole I was in. Before. A few years ago, I had the worst place in my life. And this game helped me get out of there. And it made me think so much better, because I was like, you know what? I love this game. I love it. It makes me not feel alone, you know? It makes me feel like someone I can relate to. You know, even though they're not real, but they're real to me. But anyways, guys, tell me if you guys enjoyed this, because I really like making these videos, these predictions, analyzing Ellie's mind and psychology. And so, yeah, tell me if you guys love this video. If you have any disorders or mental disorders that Ellie might have, please tell them. My 3 are PTSD, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. Those are my 3 right there. Alright, so yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, and you guys take it easy.